wanted to talk to you about what we have learned about remote testing for the CMP. People are going through the decision, do they take it in a testing center or do they take it remotely? There is no right answer for everyone. It is certainly according to what's going on in your personal life. Here are some of the things we've learned. I am filming this the end of January 2021. Remote testing started August 1st of 2020. So we are about in 5 months of having people experience the remote testing. To be honest, when it started, I think everyone was very concerned and scared. What would it mean? And many of the things we've worried about, it turns out, are not issues at all. People were terrified of the proctors, for example, and we have found that the proctors to be professional, at least, and usually many of them have been very helpful, warm, and friendly. So that is something to not worry about. Things you need to take into account if you're considering remotely. There are many stipulations which I am not going to cover all of them. So please, if you are thinking about remote, please look at the EIC and Prometric site as to the very specific things you must do if you are taking the exam remotely. These are just elements of it. Obviously, you need to have a computer that can be connected to the internet and needs to have a camera. Some of the challenges we found is sometimes people who are using work computers, because they have all kinds of firewalls and safety locks on them, have sometimes had trouble working their way to get to the spot that they are allowed to take the exam because it goes back and forth between Prometric and them. So that's something to think about. Are you going to be taking it on your personal computer or are you going to be taking it on your work computer? Other things that we have discovered, it's best if you use plain paper, no lines, and also simplified pens. In other words, not what we have started referring to as clicky pens, but something that is very simple. They have other guidelines on the website in terms of cameras and mirrors and IDs, what kinds of IDs you're going to have to show, how you have to prepare your room to make sure, obviously they are trying to prevent cheating, so please make sure you read that. One of the key things that a lot of people worry about is you are not allowed to have anyone or anything walk into your room. So anyone could be anyone you live with, parents, significant others, children, but also animals, cats, dogs, whatever. They are not allowed to come into your room, and that could be grounds, even if someone opens the door, for you being disqualified and your test coming to an end. So that's something to think about. What some people have done is they have either rented hotel rooms where they could go and take the exam completely in private and not worry about how to redecorate their entire room to make it test friendly. Other people have been able to go into offices that are not really being used in a workplace and take that there. So that is definitely something to think about. One of the biggest concerns has become the ability to be knocked off the exam, for the internet to cut out. Sometimes it might be yours, sometimes it might be on their end, and sometimes it might be somewhere in the middle. It does happen. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen. I have talked to people who have had it happen once during their exam, and I've talked to people who have had it happen up to 5 times during their exam. This is not the end of the world. If you choose to do this, this is my advice to you. Know that almost for sure you were not knocked off because they thought you were cheating. That was if people don't know this, they panic and think they did something that the proctor interpreted as cheating. That's not usually the case. It's usually truly a technology glitch. What will happen is you'll have to log back on, you will probably get a different proctor, and you will have to do the security check of your room again. Is this disruptive? Yes. Is it something to prevent you from doing remote if everything else tells you you should do remote? No. Just know nothing's wrong, log back on, Get your focus back and continue on in your exam. Make sure at the end that they actually release you to go. They usually want you to rip up your scrap paper in front of them, and do not just click off your computer before they give you permission, because otherwise sometimes your scores are delayed because now they are looking through pictures that are taken through the course of your exam to make sure they don't see anything about cheating. You are allowed to take breaks during it, and they will tell you how to do that if you choose to go for a break. So if remote, there are many, many wonderful things about remote. There are people who have to travel 2-3 hours or even overnight to get to a testing center. This is a wonderful option. Or you do not want to go out during the pandemic, or for some other reason, this is a wonderful, wonderful option that has worked for many people. So it's about knowing, hearing what people have experienced, whether it be remotely or at a testing center, and deciding what's best for you.